Welcome, welcome. My name is Keith Hampton, and I am so pleased that you are jumping on to listen to me today. I am a very unique individual. I am a very pleased and happy customer of an organization called BitcoinTAF.com. It has been an amazing company that I was introduced to back in 2016, so almost 10 years ago. And it has been a real life-changing event for me. This organization is all about integrity, training, and education. If you are wanting to understand more about the cryptocurrency space, understand more how to invest in it, how to trade it, how to know the market trends and what's happening and what's going on, this is the place for you. This team is phenomenal. As I said, I've been involved with them for 10 years, and I have never met an organization that has the integrity and honesty that this group has. That's the part that keeps blowing me away. They're doing all of this not for themselves. They're doing this to help you. That's their mission, is to help as many people as possible understand where we are and where we're going in the wonderful crypto industry. We're dealing with blockchain technology that's going to revolutionize the world. And wouldn't it be nice to know what's happening in that space? And I want to share with you some of the benefits that I've had being involved in this organization. So if you're taking a look here at this chart, you're looking at a Bitcoin chart with 7-day candles, and it has been quite a rock and roll a rock and roll journey. And it's been that way for many reasons, but the key is that if we knew what was about to happen ahead of time in the future, if we knew that this was going to be a top up here, we could have gotten out, in Bitcoin specifically, and we could have just relaxed, waited for we know when the bottom was coming in. If we had somebody who could forecast that 2 years in advance, or even a year in advance, that would save us a lot of aggravation and pain. And then knowing when we got to a top again and knowing when that would be a good time to maybe exit the market and wait for, things to uh, happen in the future. So this is the key, knowing ahead of time what's happening. So you could tell here going forward, with the information that we have in Bitcoin trend and forecast, sorry about that, we would know whether the market is going to go up or is it going to continue going sideways? Or are we actually going to have a nice big retracement? This is the thing we don't know unless you had somebody who could forecast the past. Let me show you something that's going to probably blow you away. I have here the Bitcoin long-term algorithm forecast that was developed by Marius Landman, and he developed these algorithms and predictions throughout his entire career, starting in the oil and gas industry, predicting accidents and near misses and fatal events. Today, those algorithms are being used all over the oil and gas industry in the drilling and completion side to prevent and lower those risks. He's utilized this in many other fields, and now he's doing it in Bitcoin and in the altcoins as well. And what's interesting is this mastery pattern was forecasted to hit the high back in November of 2021. So this was 2 years out, and sure enough, in October of 21, we did hit the top. And was the mastery pattern that he predicted. He also predicted the low that was going to come in number 15. And we knew that ahead of time. So we could have exited at this point, waited, got back in at the bottom, and then we're into this new cycle that he's really working on here. And so far, say 2 years ahead of time, he predicted that we're going to go into a Jaffa Gate, a Zion Gate, a Dung Gate, and now we're in this Damascus Gate. And this is what you're seeing happening. So if I had all of this and you had all of this information ahead of time, you could be into the bottom, maybe taking some profit here, got back in, rolled it up into this zone, maybe got out, rolled it back up in this zone, and maybe exit at this point. This is the power of knowing this ahead of time. Now, this same information is ongoing. The new information that is unfolding tells us what's going to happen in the future. We know as uh, subscribers to Marius's long-term reports what's going to happen in the future. We don't have to guess that the market's going to go up or the market's going to go down or sideways. We know exactly what's going to happen. And we're doing that also not only with Bitcoin, but we're doing that with the altcoins as well. So that's the power of the long-term scenarios. So I would recommend that if you are really wanting to get really inside information as what's happening in the cryptocurrency space and to become more educated and get better training, this bitcointaf.com website is for you. I would recommend that you sign up for free and then explore some of all these options that we have. Now, interesting, what I just showed you was the long-term Bitcoin algorithm forecasts that we say are 1 to 2 years projection into the future. So you have really good guidance into specifically Bitcoin. Now, right now, Mary's has a special on. You can get this long-term report for 3 months. And if you do, you can also get the altcoin reports as well for free. That's a $447 saving so that you can know what's happening in the altcoins, where we are and where we're going, and what's happening in Bitcoin. And again, if we know what's happening long term, you can relax and not be so fearful of this market space. So that's what I recommend, that the good place for you to start. Along with all of that, we have a tremendous amount of education and training that helps you become even a better investor and trader in this market space, which I'm going to show you a couple of those for reasons to give you more understanding as to why you want to be getting more training and education. So one of the things I'm going to start off with is this wonderful tool they have here called the HODLfire. This tool is actually quite amazing. I mean, if you're looking at long-term or medium-term investing, this HODLfire tool is excellent. And in fact, I'm going to show you just how powerful it is. I'm going to bring up a chart here called Chili's, and it's on only 4-hour candles. So this is much shorter term trading. And wouldn't it be nice if you knew when to get in and when to get out? When was there pivot tops? When were there pivot bottoms? And when to get in, when to get out. And you could maximize these profits over and over again. This tool provides that. Let me just bring it up here. So what we have with this tool is it gives us pivot points, knowing when a top is coming in, when we should maybe be exiting, and when a bottom is coming in and when we should be entering the market. And this can repeat over and over again. Now you'll notice at the front of the screen that all of these pivot points are in the back are black, but this one here, the front, is in blue. What that means is that that is not 100% confirmed that's a pivot bottom. That is a high probability that it's a bottom, but there's no guarantees. So we always need to have good risk management when you're in playing with these sort of situations. And so I'm going to give you an example of how I would play this. So let's go back in time. Let's even go back to this here happened on Friday, the 23rd. We got a bottom pivot. It was in blue at that time. And I would wait until we got a buy tag. Also, too, you notice this 200 moving average? That is a very, very important. The probabilities of going up when it's above the 200 is much higher than when it's below the 200. So this is a warning sign, okay? So here we've got above the 200, we've got a bottom pivot, we've got a buy tag. That's, to me, is added confluence, added confirmation that this might be a good time to enter. So I would have entered this trade on that buy tag above the 200, and I would have purchased at this point. So I'm just going to put that in blue and make it quite large so you can see it. So that's when I would have entered. But as I said, this is not 100% confirmed. So I need to protect my capital. So what I would have done, I would have set a stop loss slightly below that bottom pivot. So that way I protect my capital. So on this trade, no matter how many dollars I invested, I'm really only risking about 3.5%, 4%. Now, as this coin plays out, you'll notice that it started rallying up, and then we got a pullback. Yep, there was some fear going on here, but remember, I had my stop loss in to protect myself. So I was willing to ride this out. I already stated that I wanted to only lose 3.5% here, so I would still not panic. And lo and behold, by not panicking, this coin started moving up. Once I started seeing it moving up significantly, and notice we got into a neon green candle here, that's another strong signal that this tool tells us. So then I would have moved my stop loss up to break even. at this point. Now I've got a risk-free trade going on, and I can relax and wait before we get a pivot top. Now, again, this would have been in blue, and that's when I would have exited the market right about there. And this scenario, I've turned a potential 3.5% loss into a nice little gain of about 10%. So that is a 3-to-1 win-loss ratio. That is an excellent trade to go in. So now we're in the present point in time. And just using this tool alone, yes, we have a bottom pivot. We have a buy tag. Those are two pluses, but we are below the 200 MA. That's a negative. So this is a much riskier trade at this point in time than it was back here. So giving that, it depends on your risk profile. If you are more of a risk taker, you would maybe enter this trade with a stop loss. I would probably looking for more confluence before making that decision. So in other words, if you were a higher risk taker and ignoring that 200 MA, you would probably have entered the trade right about here. You would probably have set the stop loss right about here. And you are now in a scenario whereby you are set up with a risk management of about 4%. Again, this is a much riskier trade than the one back here. Now, here's the thing. If you had taken the training and education that this people provide us from the self-paced foundational course and then graduating to the ultimate trade course and utilizing some other tools that we have, like these medium-term trend reports, which Chili's is one of them that we're following, you could make better decisions. So let me just jump now to Chili's, utilizing the training and education that we have at the higher levels of the ultimate trade course and the foundational course, plus utilizing the indicators by the MTT reports. The MTT reports tell us that this is a good entry zone, tell us that these are very strong resistant points going up. And with this, we also have other indicators that give us better tools to decide whether we want to get in or not. So what I'm going to look at here, I'm going to turn on all of my indicators. So not only do I have the detonator A, which maybe I'll just turn that off a second. So let's look at pluses and minuses. So here we have, yes, the coin is now retraced. Looks like it's recovering, but it's below this moving average. It's also below this bull line. Those are two negatives that I'd like to see go away. Also, we have a positive down here. We do have a green dot on the momentum indicator at the bottom, telling us that it probably is going to swing back up. We also have this red line crossing over the blue line, which is a positive, but it's below this zero line, so that's a negative. So we have a lot of positive and negatives going on here. Now let's add in the HODL fire. So here, let's just go through this. We have a bottom pivot temporary. We have a buy tag. That's two positives. We have below this EMA, that's a negative. We have below the bull line, it's another negative. So that's 2 minus 2 equals 0. Here we have a positive, that's +1. And here we have a positive +2, but we're below the 0 line. That's a -1. So we only have a +1 on this. What would I do in this case? I would wait. I would wait until we move up past this EMA. I would also wait where we get past the 0 line to confirm that we have a better trade. So you can see how all of these different indicators in training and education works in confluence to give us better decision making. So I could avoid that 4% risk by entering now and just be patient. Wait until we get over this green line and then have a relook at this and see if it's improved. So that's the power of utilizing all of this training and education that we have here for you. So with that, I'd like to really encourage you to take a serious look at what these people have to offer. As I said, the training education is some of the highest standards in the world. Plus, these people are the most honest and integral people that I've ever involved with. And I've been involved with them for over 10 years. So I also like to have you involved in a community where you're getting good advice, because trading on your own out in the zones, it really is nice to have other experts in the field helping you make better decisions. So with that, simply come on in, sign up for free, take a look at all the different options and see what is right for you. And right now, there's an excellent opportunity to get some really good forecasting of what's going to happen in the future with Bitcoin and the altcoins. And you can get this all for $300 and save $447. So for me, that is a great savings. So with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and hopefully we'll see you signed up and on the other side. Take care, everybody.